That should be it sorted. Let's get it rolling. Welcome to the 5th episode of the YN podcast. Special guests that I bring on, such as professional footballers, professional athletes, professional gamers, entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, experienced entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and I basically ask them a series of questions to bring out the best in the guest that's here. We've got a very special guest today, though, isn't it, Zach?
Yeah, G.
Come on, bro. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for those that don't know me, I'm Zach, known in the game world as Zed. I'm a professional Call of Duty player for London. Been competing for like 6 years now. Obviously, live in America, do my thing. Just here for a good time, not a long time, really.
Love that, bro. So to give anyone a quick understanding, Zach plays for Royal Ravens, like you said. So that's the London franchise. And last year you played for Paris, correct? Yeah,
That's correct. Yep. Paris last year.
And you've probably, like you said, 6 years, bro. That's some amount of time, bro. That's nuts.
Been a long time, man. Been doing this I'm one of few professional gamers that had a job prior to turning professional, but I've been doing this for a while now. That's all I know, really.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And for anyone that's out there, because there'll be a lot of business owners, a lot of young entrepreneurs out there and stuff like that, or anyone out there, because whenever I get questioned about it, so every now and again in a business meeting it'll just come up, because I do LinkedIn posts based on the gaming side of things and what I do and stuff like that, and I always get asked the question, like how do you make money from gaming? Yeah. How do you get or for my example, it's like, how do you make money from streaming? Or if I tell somebody, it's like, well, the top of the dollar, which is where you essentially are, where you're salaried by an organisation for a full season. What was that kind of feeling like actually getting there though, and being salaried and it being like a full year salary? Like, sure, that's just nuts.
Honestly, John, it kind of comes out of nowhere, to be honest with you. I remember the days when I was playing for £600 a month. Which was, at the time, it was good money. Like I was at home with my mum, so I didn't have any expenses or anything like that. I just paid a little bit of rent towards her and done my thing. But going from like then to, now where over years, there was times I was on maybe like $15,000 a month, pre-tax, of course. Shout out the government taking my money, but it comes out of nowhere, man. It's like the years have flown by. I wish I could just sit back for a second, take it all in, but sometimes it's really hard to do that.
See, when I tell people the salaries of just the rumored salaries of some of the top players, mate.
Oh, mate.
People nearly fall off their seats, bro.
I won't disclose what some players are on because that's their private business, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm on the low end of the scale, just know that.
Yeah, that's absolutely bonkers, mate, because it's like,
it's crazy.
Whenever, even just as soon as you make it to like the CDL level and you get on those salaries, but I've always wondered though, like how the salaries are so much, because from the outside looking in, the viewership, even the price of the franchise, for example, was rumored at 25 million per franchise or something along those lines, which is, how would an organisation even profit from that? It blows my mind.
I think in its current state, I think Call of Duty is very overinflated.
Yeah.
The salaries are very overinflated. But if there's a demand, like, it's like any kind of anything that's overinflated. Like, you look at some football salaries, some are warranted, but are some like overinflated? Of course, like there are some in there that just make ridiculous amount of money, and I think COD's just the same way. You have your exceptions where, for example, people like Scump, he's kind of warranted. He carries Call of Duty, really. And that you can't put a price tag on that because that's where everyone wants to watch him, and if you have that on your franchise, you make all the money. So it's definitely an interesting topic, and I'm not sure what the future holds. Because I don't know how long this could last with such an overinflation, but I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm not complaining.
You're big chilling, bro. You're big chilling.
Yeah, bad, man.
So one of the questions I always ask my guests is, if you were to choose one profession outside of what you're doing just now, what would you choose to move into?
I think it would have to be as a property developer. whether that be like, you know, buying and selling houses like on like a quick like term
Yeah.
and like flipping it, or just, you know, keeping them in my portfolio and just building up my,
Your own.
you know, my own stuff. And, you know, that's definitely something I've always dreamed about, and I want to do that after I'm done competing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube videos and, you know, try and take in as much info as I can. And, you know, it sounds like there's not many millionaires that don't have housing stuff in their
Properties.
portfolio, bro. So
Yeah. It's
that's
kind of
definitely something I want to get into.
it's the most I'd say probably community business. Obviously, like I spoke to you just before, was in regards to Blair. For anyone who doesn't know who Blair is, well, you would have watched the previous episode. So episode 4 is with Blair Colley, who's a 20-year-old property investor. He secured 400 grand in property investment. Currently works with his dad, along and runs the business alongside his dad. And working with Blair, I've been working with Blair for about 4 months now, and he has helped me massively increase my knowledge of property, because essentially, like, obviously what we see like online and stuff like that, it's all sunshine and rainbows, and you just get a property, kick your feet up, and then that's you kind of big chilling. And from the outside looking in, it is technically that if you outsource everyone to do the work for you. But as Blair being a property investor, he comes in, he sources, he'll source a deal for an investor. Essentially get it, you know. I think some of the houses he spoke about is the kind of houses that you wipe your shoes on the way out of. Is some of the houses that he's described.
Okay.
That they kind of go in, they buy and flip them essentially. So they'll buy them, renovate them, do them all up, get it revalued, and then sell it essentially. Or they do like a system that's a rent to buy. So the rent to buy system is essentially where they rent it out to a tenant that actually wants to own the property at some point in the future, and they put X amount of savings of whatever they're paying in rent into a pot for the tenant, so they're able to save for the house that they want and get their dream home relatively early, which is a crazy concept, but to be fair. But
Yeah,
what interests you about property then? What do you think?
I think it's just the idea of being like financially free,
Yeah,
and not ever having to rely on, you know, the motto that people use of like, you know, time and money, and not, you know,
yeah,
you don't work to get money. You kind of just let money make money, kind of thing. And that's something I got really into in the last year, especially since COVID. I had a lot of free time.
Yeah.
So I learned all about investing in the stock market, and just put my money to work. And, you know, hopefully one day in the future, when I start my own family, I can spend time with them, and, you know, not have to go to like a 9 to 5 job or anything like that.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Crossed.
And I think that's the thing, like whenever, because when I was growing up, essentially it was when I was 18, when I came out of school, I didn't have many qualifications, but I had the qualifications to go on and be a personal trainer or a PE teacher. And the reason why I wanted to be a personal trainer was because when you're qualified, you come in at like a base price of like 25 to like £30 an hour, like pretty much. So after X amount of years of whatever education, and for me, like just basic maths, just working out as basic as possible, of having like, you know, 25 clients, working on, you know, 2 sessions per week, so that's 50 hours at £30 an hour, times that by 4. It's a healthy salary coming in for somebody that's maybe just started out in business. So that was kind of like my mindset behind, you know, getting a job in quotations, of essentially having a source of capital coming through, so that whenever I wanted to start my own business or move into the foreign exchange market or stocks or property, that I had more than enough coming through to be able to build that kind of portfolio you were speaking about. And I ended up just kind of, well, I ended up, I didn't have a choice, bro, to be fair. I actually got declined from all my college applications, my uni applications, and I had none. And I told everyone that I was going to take a gap year to pursue COD at the time, for enough, because I was competing. I think it was Black Ops 4. What did I say? Black Ops 4, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe the year before that, whatever God it was before Black Ops 4. World War 2. I think it was around about that time was kind of when the turmoil was kind of happening. And then I sat down with my mum, and she was like, "Well, if you're wanting to take a gap year," because she was still working at the time, she was like, "You need to sign on essentially, so that the system still knows where you are." And at that point, I was like, "Nah, I'm not signing on." And she was like, "Well, you're going to have to do something, because if you want to get a job after this year, then you're going to be fucked because they're not going to know where you've been for the last year or whatever it may be. I don't know what our thought process behind it was. And then my close mate essentially picked me up one day and he was like, do you want to come and study accountancy with me? He didn't get any uni, so he was going to study stats at university. He didn't get any uni, but they gave him a conditional of doing a HNC in accountancy. And I was like, well, I don't have any qualifications for it. And he was like, well, just apply and just see what they say. Applied, day later, got accepted. Absolutely nuts because I had no qualifications for accountancy. Went in and I actually loved it to begin with, mate. Yeah, started to understand more about business, more about numbers, and being around Scott's mindset was incredible. So being around him as much as possible, which is why I believe so much in environment playing a part, that kind of flipped the switch in my mindset. And then that's when I kind of essentially just changed from wanting a job to wanting to be a business owner, want to run my own kind of show, want to steer my own ship, and from that point onwards, bro, I've never looked back, mate. It's been fucking crazy, bro. Every day, bro. Even like last week there when we played that Fnatic tournament, like I was livid at the time, innit, that we never won that tournament, bro. Yeah. And see, when I woke up in the morning, bro, I just sat there and I thought, you know what, man, I literally sit and I play fucking video games. I compete in tournaments. I run a business where I'm basically working with high performers on a daily basis. But my life is blessed, mate. It's absolutely crazy, bro.
Definitely got it good, man. You definitely have.
100%, bro. Paul, just get a wee sip of water. Some of the other questions I've got written down is so this is something that I kind of know the answer to, but it'd be good to tell the viewers. What was the biggest transformation that you lived through that has been positively impacted? That's positively impacted your life so far?
Oh God, there's a few. Which one do I choose?
When it first came to my head was moving to America.
Yeah, that's definitely, that grew me up very quick. I had to learn like, you know, how to be an adult very, very quickly. You know, moving out at 19, 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
When I've never, at the time, I'd barely left, you know, the country on my own. There are a few trips.
Yeah.
And you know, moving across and we moved to Vegas of all places.
I remember,
was it 19 or actually I was 21 at the time. I remember because I was going out with IDs. So I was actually 21. It's still young. 19's younger, but obviously 21 is still young. And I remember the day I left my mum, and obviously I come from a close family. So it did suck to leave, but she understood that, like, you know, I'm chasing my dream. Who knew it would turn into this, where I'm, you know, now I own my own home over here. But at the time it was crazy. Thinking back on it, it was insane. It happened so fast.
That's something that's always kind of like, because I want to move to Florida. That's where I want to move to when the time is right. But in terms of like how to go about it, what the culture shifts like that shit all baffles me, bro. Like that scares me a little bit.
It's once you find your place over here, you quickly come to terms that there's just so much more opportunity. And the you know, the just a way of life is so much better over here. I mean, if you look at the size of my home compared to what you get in the UK, it's just uncomparable. And that just sums it up, really. Just blessed, man. Like if you live over here, you know, it has its faults. Obviously, every country does. And living away from family, obviously, if you're from a close family, that does suck. But wouldn't change it for the world, man.
Yeah, 100%, bro. What would you plan on staying in America for the foreseeable future? Definitely.
I'm engaged now, so we're probably gonna get married in the next few years. And then I apply for my green card and can just kind of travel between the two countries, which would be nice. And that's another reason why, you know, I want to be financially free. So if one day I decide, I want to go visit my mum, I can just fly home. For a week and then come back. And that's a big motivator for me to just be able to live my life the way I want to, and not be, you know, set around this, you know, have a boss that I don't like, that has some schedule that I just don't want to do.
No, I completely get
we'll
that,
see. We'll see, man.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And I think in terms of obviously kind of hinted at it there, you're now a homeowner in the States, bro. What did that feel like, mate?
It's something that it's funny. When I quit my job, so I worked at Boots, and a lot of my family members did, and at the time, my mum always said to me, she said, "I'm not letting you quit until you get a salary." So I did that, and she said, "I only have one like rule for you,
Yep.
and that's buy your own home." She said, because my mum used to own her own. At the time, it was a flat.
Yep.
And she had a kid, and my older brother, she had to sell her flat, which I think she bought at the time. It was like maybe £70,000.
Yep.
Which a flat now is worth about 300 grand. By the time 70 grand, and she had to sell that and move into a bigger like a house because of my brother. So she chose a family over a mortgage.
Yep.
And she at the time wishes she could have done both, but obviously, there's just certain struggles you have, and at the time she couldn't.
Yep.
So she always said to me, don't make the same mistake I did and buy your own home, because that will literally set you up for life.
Yep.
Not having to rent, not having to give away any of your money. So after 6 years of competing, I finally did that, which is honestly, it felt good. Felt good to tell my mum. Definitely did. Long way to go. It's a long mortgage, but I'm looking to pay off. I did put a large chunk of money down, and I'm looking to pay off as quick as possible. So
yeah, might need to get you in a call with Blair, bro, because whenever he speaks about like personal mortgages for for homes and stuff like that, he always speaks about how paying it off as quickly as possible is probably one of the worst things you can do. But that's just that's the attitude of a property investor. But it's like, see when you sit and watch like Grant Cardone, for example, he's always saying the exact opposite of what the norm is. And obviously I don't know enough about it, bro. See if I was in your shoes, I'd be doing the same, bro. Yeah. Because
I think I don't know much about it, but I think it's to do with like the fixed interest rates, and like you don't really have to pay it off kind of thing. Like it's just not going to go up.
It's like low interest borrowing in it, something along those lines. Yeah.
So like mine's a 3% fixed over a 30-year time, so it's like mine's never going to go up. But just the idea of paying it off quicker because I have the access to like extra money is something that I do definitely want to do. Whether that actually happens, I don't know, because I also want a pool in the back garden and other stuff. So that's something expensive.
You want to be living lavish, bro. I mean,
we'll see, man.
I think the thing is, bro, so even speaking to Blair, for example, he was speaking about one of the properties. He used. You can use like bridging within a property. So for example, if you own a property, you can bridge X amount of capital or X amount of the mortgage that you've paid off to another property to put the deposit down. So he was speaking about bridging. So say you had, I don't know, 150 grand property that you'd completely paid off, and you wanted to put a 25% deposit down on 2 houses that were 100k, you could bridge 50 grand from your original property into 2 different properties as a deposit, and then get a tenant into them and start making money from them, essentially, and start paying off both of those mortgages with the tenants that are inside it.
Yeah, I've heard about that. And
all crazy, bro. See the opportunities, mate.
You know what's crazy to me though, bro, is you don't learn a thing at school about this. About the stock market, about buying house. It's like they want people to stay poor, bro. Yeah. This is the only way to make it out.
Yeah.
Unless you're extremely talented at something, as a normal person, the only way to, get to a point where you're financially free is through the property market, the housing and the stock market and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's insane, man, that you don't learn a single thing.
To make it, I mean, nowadays obviously there's much more opportunities for people our age, bro, in terms of
social media, branding and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But again, like, I went to school, I didn't learn a single thing, man. Not a single thing that would teach me how to, spend my money and stuff like that. And it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
100%, bro. It's nuts. So I think I seen a video that was I can't remember if it was you that I was sitting speaking to. Maybe me, you, Shay, and Jaff. I can't remember, but it was a video that I seen on TikTok, funny enough. My TikTok feed, but it's just all full of just motivational videos, mate. Things that are going to get me gassed. So see, whenever I get gassed, I load up my For You page, mate, and it's just, you know, like Les Brown pops up, like all these crazy. And this one was up from a podcast, and it was like the guy was sitting there and speaking about it. It was like they teach you to be sheep. The government teaches you to be sheep, or the government teaches the teachers to teach you to be sheep. But there's going to come a time where you're going to step out of that line and you're going to choose to be a fucking tiger. And off the back of being out that line and becoming a tiger, the government can't say shit about you becoming a tiger because you're now there to hunt. And it's so shit that the rest of the world are sheep and you end up hunting the sheep if you want to become a capitalist or whatever it may be. But you end up stepping out that lane and you become a tiger. Nobody can stand in front of you and tell you can't because you found that path on your own. And bro, that video motivated me like crazy because it's so true, mate, because you're taught to just go. I had a meeting with a young lad that's a trading consultant, runs his own forex trading consultancy business. This was back like March last year, probably just pre-COVID, February last year. And he was like, yeah, bro, we literally stand in this line. It's school, then it's college, then it's uni, then it's work, then it's retire, and then you die. And
literally, bro,
anyone steps out that line, bro, you get pointed at, you get laughed at, you get questioned, you get fucking everything under the sun, bro. But as soon as you step out that line and you fully stay out of that line, like the opportunities, bro, and this day and age as well, mate, like you spoke about, social media, influencers, all the stuff that people thought, even like being a podcast host, mate, someone like Joe Rogan, the fact that he's making what he's making, for example, of you know, sitting just recording conversations for a few hours a day is mind-boggling, mate. And 10 years ago you would have got laughed at, bro, if you said that you wanted to be a podcast host, mate. It'd be fucking nuts, man.
I mean, I think it's kind of summed up. You know, you come out of college, and to progress further in your career, you have to put yourself in debt unless you come from a rich family. And like, I think that just sums up the entire, you know, the thought process with the government and like just everything, bro. It's insane,
bro,
and it takes years to be able to pay that back.
100%, bro. And do you know what the crazy thing is, bro? If I went to apply to go to uni next year, I could get like a $5,000 student loan. But if I applied to get a business loan right now, I'd probably get declined. Which is like for the same amount of money. Like it's all the rate would be fucking through the absolute roof.
And especially in the UK, I don't know what it's like in Scotland, but in England, it's like the prices of houses compared to like the minimum wage and people making is disgusting. Like, how is anyone ever able to afford their own home?
100%.
You know, at our age, like, I'm fortunate. I'm 23. I got a once in a lifetime job. Moved to America. Blah blah blah. Got my own home. But someone like me working at Boots, making just over £1,000 a month, and I've got to try and fork out at least 20% on a, you know, that'll take me years.
Yeah.
Because I can only save a couple hundred every month. It's disgusting. And I wish there was. Obviously, there's different ways you can go about it, like first home buyers, and stuff like that through the government, but still difficult. And you know, props to anyone that's able to go out there and do their thing, man, because it's hard, man.
100%, bro. I can't remember who it was. I think it was either Robert Kiyosaki or Grant Cardone that said, it's Robert Kiyosaki who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. Why would you save money when they can literally print money? Like you're saving money to basically put, obviously, say a deposit on a home, for example, or to take out a mortgage, to potentially enter into, say, debt, for example. When they can literally just print money, bro. It's one of the most mind-boggling. Bro. It's absolutely.
I found out only maybe a year and a half ago. Honestly, maybe just over a year ago, actually, maybe like 13 months, that keeping your money in a bank account is basically just doing nothing. You know, you're basically losing money at the end of it. And to me, I was sitting there like, why did I never learn this? And then that's when I come across the stock market and I watching a lot of YouTube videos, and you know, fortunately, I invested in Tesla. So,
come on, bro.
You know, shout out Elon Musk, man. He helped me out. He did help me out.
What a guy, man. What a guy. When it comes to like the stock market and stuff like that, my mum's, it's funny because I always think back to, this is something I've been thinking about recently. Say you go back, when was the internet invented, bro? I mean,
early 2000s, maybe like late 1990s.
Yeah, like so let's go back to when I was born in 1999. Back then, bro, in terms of like the opportunities we have in the information era, bro, we have access to anyone and everyone, exactly, bro, for completely free, like for free. And see, when it came to, so my mum's now, actually people watching this, they all know now that my mum's been engaged to our boyfriend Craig, who they've been together for about 5 years now. They got engaged yesterday. So happy for them, right? When I first met Craig, my mum introduced me to Craig, and I sat and spoke to him for about an hour, and the way in which his mind worked was so different to anyone that I'd ever met, but it was in a way that, so he'd invested in stocks from the ages of like late 20s. He's coming up to about 50 now, or he's just turned 50, he's around about that kind of age. So he's been investing in stocks for 20 odd years, and his motto is always to get rich slow. That's what his whole thought process. Long-term investments, multiple funds, all generating between 10 to 15% a year, and so on and so forth. Very diverse stock market. And when I spoke to him, bro, and I got exposure to how he thought, and then we went on holiday together to Florida, and we played Monopoly, and we sat, and the way in his mind worked, and like combining like his knowledge of breaking down numbers to his job, which was working as a salesman in an oil company. His like that combination of both, it was just like he was wiping the floor with like everyone, bro. And it was like me and him and his son Ryan were sitting. I think it was like us three that were left, and just to see the way he just haggled, the way he gave me offers, the way he tried to sweet talk me, but also just like the knowledge behind the deals that he was trying to make. It was the kind of way, like, see, the internet wasn't a thing, and me meeting Craig, that would probably would have been single-handedly the best thing that ever happened to me if the internet wasn't a thing. Because me just being exposed to him and how he thought, I was like, holy shit, man, this guy thinks so differently of me.
It's crazy that, like, I talk about stocks to my family, and over the generations, my nan, my granddad, saying back to them, none of them ever heard of it. They're like, what is that? Like, so I'm the first one in my family to ever invest in the stock market, and the way I kind of came about it, when I was on Paris last year, the analyst called Brandon, he used to work in a bank, and he was doing like all the stats with the bank and stuff like that, and he moved to do Call of Duty because that was his dream job, and he was like, hey, like check out this website Vanguard, like open up a Roth IRA, which is like an ISA in the UK, and put some money in it, like save your money. So I learned all about this Roth IRA on YouTube, and then through that, the algorithm picked up that I was interested in all this, and honestly, I never looked back since, and I'm just glad I met him, because if I never met him, I would have never got involved. And I'm kind of the same as I'm like slow. Build your money up over the years. I don't do any of this day trading or cryptocurrency. I have a little bit in crypto, but not too much. But I'm more in like the S&P 500. Put money in my retirement account. Put money in Tesla. Put money in Apple. And just kind of let it sit there and just kind of forget about it. And that's gonna be my plan for the next 20 years. And fingers crossed Tesla takes over, because I got a lot of money in them. So.
Shout out Elon Musk, bro. I mean, they're literally dominating. I mean, electric cars, like.
I don't see a world in which they're not dominating. I've done my research enough, and I just find it hard to just see them not at the top in the years to come. And hopefully I'll own my own Tesla one day, because safest car on the road. So.
Come on, bro.
We'll see, man.
100%, bro. When I look at like even like the Tesla as a company and so on and so forth, it's such an interesting company. But I think Elon Musk himself, just as an individual,
he's a big he contributes a lot to that company, and it's funny that he's doing all these other projects at the same time.
Oh, it's crazy, bro.
You got SpaceX, like the Boring Company. It's like he's a busy man, and props to him. He deserves to be the richest in the world. So
Have you watched the Joe Rogan? I think it's the
yes,
second episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
I've got them.
Man.
I've got them all downloaded on my phone. So whenever I go out a walk, I've got like a series of like 3 podcast episodes that I watch. I listen to that. I must have listened to all of them at least like 5-6 times each, bro. Just like my walks, mate. And every single time I listen to them, there's always a golden nugget in there that I've just missed out or missed up, whatever it may be. And sitting listening to Elon Musk, bro, and how much he thinks, and he's someone that's he's so honest and transparent. At least that's the impression that I get. And I remember Joe was asking me, he was like, "Well, all this shit you've got going on, bro. Like, how much do you sleep? Like, what do you even do?" And he's like, yeah, about 6 hours. About 6 hours is good. And he's like, so you get 6 hours? He's like, yep. That's all. That's what I need to run at like optimal level. But yeah, all the other shit that he's doing, bro. Like, I think he says himself, like the car market or the car industry. Fuck running a car company, bro. That would be a mission, mate. That would be.
I think it's just like the reason I invested so much because I was like, okay, the way the world is in this day and age, like saving the planet and doing good things is what's achieving success for most people. You put one foot wrong and you're getting like quote unquote cancelled. You know what I mean? And I just can't see a company that is, trying to save the world ever getting cancelled because it's like you've got the safest car in the world, you're saving the planet at the same time. They're cheaper than most cars, and it's Elon Musk. So it's like, okay. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, like I don't know, man. Give it 10 years, I reckon they're gonna be at the top, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. But I think the cancel culture is something that's so blows my mind, bro. That's even a thing, mate. It's
so like, you look back 10 years ago and you see some of the things people said online or just said in a joking format. Even if you go look at, I don't know, maybe some stand-up comedians back like 10 years ago, some of the stuff they say, or even films. Like you go look at films, bro, and if they were released today, there would be so much backlash. And it's just crazy to me, man. Obviously, certain things defo deserve that kind of treatment, but it's insane, man.
Yeah, 100%, bro. But just on the topic of what we just spoke about in terms of money and stuff like that. I know we've had this conversation maybe a little bit. We had a laugh about it and stuff like that. What is the stupidest thing you've ever spent your money on, bro?
So I have a lot of designer stuff. Whether that's stupid or not, it makes you feel good when you wear your clothes. So it's like that's whatever. But what did I waste my money on? Let me have a think here. It have to be gambling, bro. Vegas. I didn't enjoy it. I was just doing it to do it. Because I was bored. I'd take out $500 and just to one hand in blackjack, and I'm like, okay, never mind. It's definitely designer stuff. Like, if I could go back and, I bought a ring before I was engaged. I spent, it was almost £6,000 on a diamond ring. And I got that just before I joined Paris. And luckily I'm engaged now because then I'm like, okay, this will be my wedding ring eventually. It's got a purpose. But £6,000 for a ring, and then a couple months later I found out about investing in the stock market, and I was like, huh, I'm an idiot. It's sick. Like, it's good, nice waste of money, man. But I have given a lot of money to my family over the years. I paid off all my mum's debt and everything. So there's been good purchases as well, as well as the bad ones.
No, 100%, bro. What was your mum's face like when you told her you paid off her debt?
She wouldn't accept it.
She wouldn't accept it?
Yeah, she
That's such a stereotypical mum thing, like a good mum thing to do, innit?
And I was like, I had to sit down and be like, Mum, like, I make what you make in a year, in a month. Like, please take it. Like, not to brag, but it's my turn to look after you, kind of thing. Like you've looked after me for 20 odd years, like let me look after you. And they spent that money, they paid off their entire debt, and every extra penny they make now, they put in their savings and they use it to come and visit me one day when COVID's done. So
that's amazing,
definitely one of the best things I ever did, man.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I actually had I used to have like a similar vision for my mum until she started her business, to the point where she's just killing it now, mate. Where I know that I'll never need to do anything like that, because I know that probably the next, even just now, bro, like what my mum's done, mate, with her business and over the last 3 years, watching her grow as an individual, watching her grow from a 9-to-5 employee, not even a 9-to-5 employee, bro. She was that good of a. So she used to run the legal department at an oil company. So she managed about 70 odd employees. So she was meant to start at 9. She used to get in at 7:30 because she wanted to get in an hour and a half early to make sure she was organised for the day. She would stay late, and she would probably get back. I remember her getting home. She used to pick me up from my grand's probably about 5:30ish. She'd probably sit and have a cup of tea, have some dinner. We'd get home for about 6, bro. So about 11 hours Monday to Friday, and then the weekends. Probably the most stressed. If I ever think back to like how my mum was compared to the individual she is now, stress, bro, just through the fucking roof, mate. And the traffic as well, bro. I mean, when I was going to uni, mate, it's still in uni. I used to travel up the same road that she used to travel to go to work. And see, getting stuck in traffic for like 50 minutes, bro. It's the most demoralising thing on this planet, mate.
You just want to be home.
Oh, bro.
Want to be home.
Fuck it.
I mean, I kind of, moving out at the age I did, and now owning my own home, living in an apartment, having my own dog, I kind of come to appreciate what my mum did for me and my brothers and sisters, because I come from I'm a twin myself that not a lot of people know.
I didn't even know that.
And I also have twin sisters that are they're born April 1996 and we're born September 1997.
Jesus.
So you can imagine having 4 kids pretty much growing up at the same age. As well as having a kid that's, my older brother's about 6 years older than me. So she had 5 kids to look after, as well as work, as well as do everything else, look after the house. And I'm at a stage in my life I can barely look after myself. So I sit in and I'm like, wow, like mums are truly they're like superheroes, you know what I mean?
100%.
Like just the stuff they do without like wanting the thank yous and they don't look for a reward in it. They just want you to be happy, kind of thing. And I anything I ever do in my life, I always give back to my mum and my dad. Both of them, they sacrifice so much for me and my siblings to be where we are, and luckily we're all pretty successful. My older brother's, he's a store manager of Boots, so he's on good money. My sister's training to be a pharmacist. And we're all doing good things in life, so it's like, they've done a good job.
No, 100%, bro.
Hopefully one day, I'll be successful enough where I can just, retire them early, and that's the dream. Retire them early.
100%.
Not quite there yet, but we'll see.
You're nearby, bro. Tesla, shout Zach, bro.
Come on, Elon Musk, man. Help me, man.
I think the first thing came out. What age was your mum when she had yourself and then your other twin, the other twins as well? What age was you?
I want to say like early 30s.
I
want to say early 30s. And I was the last one, and she always said to me, if you were my first kid, I would never had any more. I was that bad. I was a bad boy, but I was the last one. I'm the youngest in the family, so
I've been told I was quite a good kid, mate. I really ever cried. I slept all the way through the night. I was supposedly alright, bro.
I got tested for ADHD 3 or 4 times. Come back negative because but yeah, they were not happy. I was a bad boy.
Oh, I get that,
I've turned out pretty good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're big chiller now, bro. Big chiller now, mate.
Pretty good, man.
Thinking back to the stupidest thing you spent money on, bro, and the gambling aspect and stuff like that, there was a really good area I wanted to take that there, bro, but gonna slip my mind. But in terms of the gambling aspect and stuff like that, watching the Nelk boys, watching Steve will do it and that, bro, they crease me up, mate. They make me laugh something awful.
Watching the Nelk boys makes me want to just go and spend all my money, man. Like they just, I'm not a big drinker, but they make me want to go drink. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, it's, they're great,
yeah,
great bunch of guys, man. They've hit the nail on the head with the content.
yeah,
So,
yeah. They've changed the game,
obviously,
bro.
man.
The the
Yeah,
the
defo.
thought process that I lost was the new Dave album. You've been listening to it?
I have a little bit, yeah.
The one of the
Yeah.
songs, he speaks about how many mothers and fathers gave up their dream to supply for us as we were growing up and so on and so forth. But one of the lines, bro, that got me every time I hear it, bro, and how that way you tune into a song just always a second before the line hits. Like you kind of tune out a little bit while it's on, but no
Yeah.
matter what, always before this line comes up, and it's something along the lines of, none of you think when you walk into a club and you pee in the toilet seat, not thinking that someone's mum needs to come and clean it up. Also, it rhymes
Yeah.
in a way. It rhymes in a way. Also, I'm not Santan Dave, bro. But it's basically implying that, you know, you walk into a club, you get drunk, you piss in the toilet seat, and you don't think twice about it. You go on with the rest of your night, and you just get on with things. When in fact someone's mum is coming in to clean that shit up, for a wage to supply for most likely their kid.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. But I know for a fact, mate, like, if your mum had fucking what, 6 kids, bro, that's fucking crazy, bro.
And you know, my dad would work Monday to Thursday.
Yeah.
Sometimes Friday if he could get overtime because he works in the hospital.
Yeah.
He works in like the theatre room, so he does like helps with operations and stuff. And my mum just used to work on a 1 day a week Sunday, so they used to kind of split the load. But my mum was the majority of it while my dad went and made the money.
Yep.
But it's crazy, man. I think the last couple years, I've really realized that, you know, you've got to be kind to everyone
Yeah,
and
100%,
like
bro.
support as many people as you can, because it's just everyone's kind of on their own journey. You know what I mean? You never
Yeah.
know what someone's going through, and I just, you know, I spent a lot of years when I first got into like pro gaming. I spent a lot of years just closed off to myself,
Yeah.
and you know, wouldn't really make conversation with random people and smile or anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it was like an ego, but it was kind of just like, I don't know. I just,
I get it, bro. I get
I
it.
didn't care. I didn't care enough.
Yeah.
And then I spent the last few years, and you know, there's been a few things that have happened in my life that have really changed me as a person. And
Yeah.
now I'm just like, you know, be kind to everyone, like, treat people how you want to be treated, and just be a good person, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's so many bad things going on in this world that why be another one? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, treat someone with respect,
I think the thing is as well,
no matter
bro.
where I am.
Yeah.
No matter where I am.
Yep. 1,000,000%, bro. And I think kind of brings on a really good topic of mine, bro, to be fair. But obviously, in terms of, I think when we're growing up, I mean, most people don't ever even become aware of this either, bro. But it's like, I call it like spotlight syndrome, where we believe that like everything we do is so important, and that,
Yeah.
you know, nothing else matters apart from what's going on in here, and nobody else matters apart from what's going on in here, and so on and so forth. But part of my mum's journey that she's kind of disclosed with a few people, but not as much yet, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying, is that she wants to open up a homeless shelter in Glasgow, for people under the age of 30 or under the age of 25. And so whenever I'm out, in terms, even probably since I started running my own business, mate, in terms of I used to be, probably still am quite introverted. I used to say I used to have an extrovert battery, where my extrovert battery used to come on for work, and within the first like 2 hours of work it'd be done. I'd be fucking just exhausted, mentally exhausted. And probably since I came into streaming and YN, when I'm just speaking to people all day every day, I've came to enjoy it, but I do need some time to myself every now and again.
Yeah.
But even yesterday, bro, me and Rebecca went into Glasgow, went to a nice restaurant, Nona Said it's called. It's an Italian restaurant. Very nice, bro. Very nice. When we walked outside, bro, there's a homeless guy sitting, and he looked really young to me, bro, like really young. And as I was walking by, he just turned around and he was like, "I hope you have the most amazing night, mate, and just stay safe." And I just carried on walking. I was like, "Thank you, man." And I thought to myself, I was like, "Nah, that's fucked, bro. That's so fucked." So I went back and I sat with him for like 5-10 minutes, bro, and just sat and just asked him about how he'd got there, what had happened to him, what his journey was like, and I just gave him this kind of spare change that I had in my wallet, and I wish I could have done more in that moment. But just sitting speaking to him, bro, like he was speaking about, like, he used to live up north, like up towards like Perth kind of area, moved back to Glasgow with his girlfriend, something happened to his girlfriend, so they ended up splitting up, and then from then on out, lost his job, ended up also on the streets. He actually got given a job got given a house by the council, I think he said 2 days before Saturday, so like Thursday. Went to move into it, and it was piss and shit up the walls. The whole house was destroyed, mate, and he was like, I just couldn't stay in it. It was disgusting. So I've come out on the street to accumulate enough money to essentially clean my house so I can actually stay in it. But prior to that, he'd been homeless for a couple of months, bro. And we sit here, bro, and we sit here and we fucking worry about shit like, I don't know, like the shower not being too warm, and like it being warm in our rooms, or having to have the window open, or like, you know, or the internet's not working tonight, or my phone's died. All this shit that just doesn't really matter, bro. And there's people out there that just don't even have a fucking home, bro. Don't have a home, don't have a family. It's fucked.
It's crazy, man. I think it's even crazier. There's like, every single one of them have a different story, man. That's how they got there. You know, some of them, like for example, the guy you just spoke about, like it's not their fault. Like, you know, they didn't put themselves there. They don't want to be there. They're just labeled by society as like failures and, you know, people that you shouldn't associate with. But half the time, bro, they're probably nicer than majority of people. That's why, like I said, like no matter where we go, you know, I used to be a whole thing like, oh, you know, I'm not going to tip in America, because in America you tip at restaurants and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to tip, like that's their job, you know what I mean? And then you sit there and you think like, they probably don't want to be there, man. Like they don't want to be doing this. Like who like, no offense to anyone that does, but like the majority of people don't aspire to be a waitress or you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't, it's not a thing. So I make sure when I go out, like, you know, I tip good, I clean up after myself, you know, the little things that make their job easier. You know, stack the plates up together and stuff like that, and just be a kind person wherever you go, man, because it's just, I don't know, I would like to think somebody would do the same thing for me. I just treat everyone with respect, man.
100%, bro. And I think even on the topic of a waiter, for example, on yesterday when we were in Nona said, the bill came and it was something like, I think it was only like £39. And I said to him, I was like, just round it up to 50, just have the kind of remaining of the tip. And I didn't think that was, to me, like, see what I wanted in the future, bro. That's very minimalist. Like I wanted to do so much more. And she was like, are you sure? Like that's a lot. And I was like, it's fine. Like it's like it's an extra like £11. Like it's okay.
There's something I do every time. I've done this for the last year since I've had my haircut at the certain barbers. The haircut's only like $32. But
only $32.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive. And every single time I withdraw $60 from the machine and I give them $60, because like the way they treat me and like, you know, how much care they take. And just like, you never know what someone's going through, bro. So like during COVID especially, you know, that extra $30, that could be life changing, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that could help them pay off a flat tire or a broken down car, or just something that they were really stressing about, where now they don't have to, because, you know, I've been able to help them out, and I've been fortunate enough where I've been able to do that for a long time. And I'll continue to do that, man. I don't necessarily, you know, go and give money to different places. I do donate a little bit, but the majority of my time, majority of my money, like, comes from me just like giving extra back to the people that, you know, are in my life and like around me.
Because I think like there's a lot of people, bro, that ask, like, you know, like not necessarily like, you know, maybe people that kind of suffer from like subtle nihilism, and to me like a bit of like subtle nihilism is it can be healthy, like that kind of whole like, you know, life is meaningless, so do what you want anyways, you know, do what makes you happy, so on and so forth, you know. Does it really matter if you no longer, if you take the risk to leave your job and start a business, and so on and so forth, bro? But I think, like, when it comes to like a monetary aspect, you know, people will be like, you know, why do you want to be worth billions, or why do you want to be worth millions, whatever it may be, like. And for me, bro, like, in order for me to give as much as what I give, I need to get to that level, to the point where shit like that doesn't not necessarily hurt. It won't hurt at all, because it's always in such a good manner where, you know, I just want to be able to do it and not being able to think twice, you know. Whatever I've got. I had a woman, bro, that I was in Subway one day, bro, and I was in and this woman in front of me, bro, she was being so fucking rude to this. I think she was a new starter in Subway. And some of the shit she was saying, bro, she was swearing. She said 3 times, I think, like what she wanted in her sandwich. And the girl was just getting pure nervous and like kept putting on the wrong things. And she's like, "Are you fucking listening to me?" And I was just sitting there, bro, and I was like, "Holy fuck, this is making my hair stand up, bro." I was getting pissed. And obviously, eventually it was all done, and as she was walking away with her son. She's like, "Did you fucking see that girl? Blah blah blah." Like, pure saying that shit to her son. So they sat down. So I walked up and I was just speaking to the girl that had just served. I was asking her how her day was. I was telling her not to mind what happened and so on and so forth. And then she gave me my food, and I said, "You know, I hope you have an amazing day." And I got back into my car, and I thought, nah, you know what, man? That's just like not enough, mate. That's just like, what the fuck am I doing, man? So I put my fucking Subway down in my seat, walked back in, and I was like, the manager was like, "Did we forget something? Is everything alright?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd like to tip this wonderful woman for the amazing service that she gave me. I'm not sure if you take tips, but in my honest opinion, this has probably been one of the best times I've ever been served in a Subway." And I was shouting it, bro. And this woman and her son were sitting looking at me, the woman that was just being a pure cow to this other girl. Yeah. And this girl was like looking at her manager as if like, "Can I have a tip?" And the manager was like, "Sorry, we don't take tips, but what I would like for you to do is, could you go on and maybe fill out this survey in the name of," and then give me the woman's name. And I was like, bruv, I just wish I had like, you know, disposable cash to the point where I could just go and say I took like $1,000 out and just put it in an envelope and just dropped it there, bro. What could they fucking do about it, bro? They couldn't decline. They could decline it if they wanted, but it would be sitting there, and if they didn't take it, then someone else would take it. But having the disposable cash to the point where it's like, I walk in and I'm like, "No, you know what, man? Thank you so much. You know, here's $1,000." Like, how fucking good would that feel, bro?
It's crazy that me, like 3 or 4 years ago, if I saw, you know, something happening in front of me, I wouldn't say anything. But me now, bro, like, you'd have to stop me from saying something, because it's like, the way people treat other people is disgusting, bro. And like, if I see that, like, I can't help it. I have to say something. Yeah. Like, in reality, what the fuck are they gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you were being rude to someone and someone come up to you and said, like, "Shut the fuck up, like, stop being rude," what are you gonna say? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, a bit scary in America, you know what I mean? They got these different laws out here, but no, it's like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to see how over time, you know, how things have gone, man.
Yeah, bro, because I was the exact same, mate, in terms of like, when I wouldn't have said a thing, bro. Even this time last year, bro. And like, to me, it was always like, you know, like, the picture always gets bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like, she might feel like shit about it just now, but tomorrow she'll be okay. You know, like, she'll wake up and she'll be fine. And that was always my thought process. Like, things always get better. Time is the biggest healer, and so on and so forth. But just how my mind's switched now, bro. Even just at times where I've been disrespected, where it's just been like, you know, turn up to meetings and you know, it's minor things, not anywhere near the same comparison of what any of the things I've just explained there, but turn up to meetings and people not respecting my time, people, you know, not even being interested enough to pay attention to what I have to say in a meeting that they've scheduled. You know, I had a couple of meetings, but one of which, you know, woman was picking up her phone, picking up a PlayStation controller, doing all sorts, but just anything apart from sitting and speaking to me. And at one time I just stopped speaking, And she was like, you do know I can do two things at once, you know? And I thought, you know what, bro? Got fucking no time for this shit, bro. What kind of disrespectful shit is that, man?
That comment as well, we just...
Yeah, like, what? What?
Yeah.
Well, no, like, it's just, that sort of stuff just blows my mind, man. So when it comes to the respect, probably me being exposed to just small things like that, it's like, there's just no need for it, bro. Like, there's just no need. Like, why would you speak to anyone like that? Why would you speak to me like that? And if it was... See, I was to sit. My thought process was always when I first came into business. If my mum was sitting in this seat, so someone that's double my age, for example, would they be speaking to her like they're speaking to me? And if the answer's no, then I just end the meeting, bro. Because it's something that you just, because I'm young, obviously. That was probably one of the biggest obstacles coming into business. It was like, I'm taking this leap, I'm coming in, and I just felt like I was being spoken down to. And obviously in my own head, it was like that kind of spotlight syndrome comes in where you almost become like your back's up against the wall all the time. But when you just stop caring about it, bro, I can't remember the last time that happened to me, bro. Fucking months ago. I've been in business with YN since January this year. Done about 7 months. I honestly can't remember apart from that time I just said there, which was about probably 4 or 5 months ago. I can't remember the last time it happened. Being someone not valuing my time or respecting my time. I think it is a lot of it is kind of. It's one of those. It's like the book that I was speaking about, the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson.
Yeah, I've got that in my house.
Bro, what a fucking book, bro. What a book, mate. But he speaks about, like the less you pay attention to things, or the less you think about something, or the less you care about something, the less it actually happens. Which is a weird kind of aspect, bro. But in terms of, so you kind of got an insight, bro, into like, one of the questions I always ask is, if you had a 330 feet billboard and you could stick it anywhere you wanted in the world, a lot of people say, fucking, what's this square that's in New York?
Times Square.
Times Square. So you stick it in Times Square. What would you like to be on it? And it can't be anything from a personal aspect. It can't be anything about your business or your future business. It needs to be, something that you'd want to give to the world on a billboard that people would see every single day.
Probably just something about being kind, bro.
Yeah.
Being kind to each other. I'm showing respect.
Yep.
I show respect to everyone unless I've been disrespected. Then I don't show respect.
Yep.
But I show respect to everyone, no matter what background you come from, no matter where you are in your life. If I meet you, I've met you for a reason, kind of thing.
Yep.
So like, I want people to, when they think of me, I want people to think of like, oh yeah, like that guy's cool, like he's kind.
Yeah.
I don't want them to think of like, oh, he's a bit weird, like, he's a bit of a dick. I don't want that around. Like, some people might, but not me. And I try and help as many people as possible. I'll go out of my way to help someone. For no reward or nothing that benefits me, just to help. I know sometimes I've wanted help in the past and I've not had anyone there to give it to me. So knowing I have whether that be like knowledge or ability to just help someone, that inspires me to just be better every day, bro. So
100%, bro.
Something about being kind, bro.
Gotta be in it. It's got to be one of a good answer that I got from. There was actually one of our questions. It was an icebreaker question we had in one of the networking sessions. And one of the answers one of the members, Rory, gave me was to social media is never what it seems. And he wanted it on a massive billboard because he was just in terms of how people portray their life and so on and so forth. But for me, bro, probably something similar. Being kind. I'm pretty sure someone was at a networking event was just literally be kind in massive writing.
Something about being kind, like everyone's trying to figure out life the same way you are, kind of thing.
Yep.
Everyone's just at a different point. Some people are ahead of others. It's not a race.
Yeah. So. 100%, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
What's one attribute from one of your closest friends or family members or your partner that you'd love to adopt?
I think just the willingness and the hardworking nature of my mum.
Yep.
Sometimes I can be lazy and I have to think back to what she did and what she does continues to do every day.
Yep.
Just something I want to strive. And my dad especially. My dad used to drive me around the country to play football.
Yep.
You know, he used to work. He has a stressful job. You know, if something goes wrong in the operation room, like he's there. You know what I mean? He sees this stuff like firsthand every day.
Yep.
And then he's got to come home and be a dad. So it's like definitely some stuff that they do.
Yeah,
Sure.
100%, bro. And I think it's something that obviously perspective is key in terms of in any sort of comparison to what, like for example, if I was to say to you, what would you think would be, if you think back to when you were younger, what's a kind of normal daily routine for your mum? Let's say, I don't know, a Tuesday.
Let's say Tuesday. How old am I?
Let's say you're 10.
Oh, I'm 10. So Tuesday, she'd wake up, probably around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
She would wake us all up, make sure we're all awake for school. Make breakfast or something for 4 kids.
Yeah.
She would then take us to school.
Yeah.
She would go home. She would clean the entire house. Because she's one of them people that like to hoover every day.
Yeah.
Keep the house clean. She's very proud of her house. So,
Yeah.
you know, she looks after it. She would then maybe go shopping to get some food. Go get any things that we needed that we had spoke about like prior. She would then pick us up from school. She would make dinner, make sure we're all doing our homework, make sure all our clothes are washed, make my dad dinner. Just honestly, chores.
Yeah.
Like, I have one chore in my apartment with my fiance, and that's do the dishes. And let me tell you, there's some days I wake up and I just don't want to do them. And my mum didn't have that choice. She
Yeah.
would have to do them all every day.
Well, that was always my chore as well, you know, doing the dishes, mate.
And yeah, it's crazy that she just done it without moaning.
Yeah.
She's done it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I can only respect it. And one day, man.
Yeah. I'm thinking in this new gaff, if it doesn't already have a dishwasher, you're definitely copping a dishwasher, bro.
Mate, even we have a dishwasher, I'm still lazy. Like I don't know. I just like sitting in my chair, bro. That's it.
Yeah, bro. Making pee, making shit happen, bro. Making shit happen. I think in terms of when it comes to like chores and stuff like that, it was probably something I was quite fortunate about. My job was always when I got home from school to do dishes before my mum got home. So I'd have like a 1.5 hour window, and obviously, bro, back when you would have been the exact same, bro. I think back to probably Black Ops 2, bro. That was the first COD that I started playing competitive about halfway through that COD. I think I was about 12, 13 at the time, bro. League play was my fucking heart and soul, bro. I lived and breathed league play. And I used to try and get away from school 5 minutes early. So I'd try and pull something with school. Say I had an appointment, or, you know, try and get away in some sort of way. To make sure I could catch an early bus. And if I got an early bus home, nobody was on the bus apart from the other people leaving early. So the bus was jam packed. And as soon as I got off the bus, I'd just run home, bro. Straight in, tie off, you know, fucking top button under my shirt, bro. And I'd just sit and I'd just smoke COD, bro. Until mom got home. That 2.5 hour window, whatever it was. And that was the only job I had, bro. And she'd come in, and if it wasn't done, she'd be like, "What the fuck are you playing at, man? What are you? What kind of excuse?"
I used to come home, and honestly, I wish I was different.
Yeah.
Because I used to come home from school. We used to finish at 2:50 in the afternoon. I'd get on the bus. I'd be home for 3:20. That's when the bus arrived at my bus stop. I used to go straight upstairs on the Xbox, and just game. And then dinner would be called. I would run downstairs. I'd eat it in literally like less than 2 minutes flat. Back upstairs until bedtime. And I wish I spent more time, you know, just because my mum would ask me like, "Oh, how's your day?" I'd be like, "Oh, it's fine. Eat my dinner. Back upstairs."
Yeah.
And I wish I just sat down and just like had a conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough where I haven't lost any family members yet. But you know, I'd hate to be in that position where you don't have family members and you wish you could go back.
Yeah.
And yeah, thinking back, it was crazy, man. I wish I just sat down and took a breather for 5 minutes and just talked to my mum.
Yeah, because that's probably all she was looking for, bro.
Yeah, all she's looking for is conversation. Just she hasn't seen me all day, and all I want to do is play COD. So
Look at you now, though.
look at me now.
It's
has its benefits, I guess.
It does, bro. And I think that's when I went and I spoke at school. I went and spoke at a school. I think it was Alloa Academy, and they wanted me to come along and speak about gaming and streaming and stuff like that. And I remember I was just sitting there, bro, and this kid messaged me like privately on it, and he was like, "What can I do to grow my stream? I've got no viewers right now." This was to about first and second years, so that's like year 7, year 8s in England.
So you're like 13, 14.
Yeah, like around about that kind of age. This kid sitting asking me how to grow his stream, or how to become better, or how to kind of make it. That was the kind of generic question I was getting asked for, and I thought, I can't be fucking honest with these kids, bro, because I neglected every area of my life in order to get to the level I wanted to get to on COD. I had dog school. I didn't go in. I rarely ever went in. My attendance was for 2 years straight below 60%. The only year in which I had actually high attendance was in my last year, which I was doing sports leadership, refereeing, and higher PE. That was my 3 subjects. So I literally was in my PE kit all day. It just fucking, and whenever I've had free periods, I'd go in and I'd help out the PE teachers, and I'd just try whatever they were doing, bro. If it was volleyball, football, ping pong, I was just there, bro, because I just love sport, mate. And it was something that, like, when I think back, bro, to like when these kids were asking me this, bro, I thought, I just can't be honest with you, man. But I just can't be, because like it's kind of like anything, like you said way back at the beginning, just this podcast alone, mate, about how, like, to get out with the norm, you either need to be exceptional at something to the point where you're one of the best in the world, or you're stuck in that norm almost for life until you make the decision to take control financially.
Lucky, man. Like my cousin, he's coming on 10 now. He doesn't like school, and he wants to be a pro gamer. That's what he wants to be. And it's hard to explain to people that this is honestly probably harder than becoming a professional footballer.
Yeah.
Like, being a professional gamer is hard.
Yeah.
And, I was fortunate enough where I got into gaming seriously after my school, like, finished.
Yeah.
Because if I found out a couple of years earlier, I probably would have been...
Same as me.
Not going to school.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough where I got into it after, and, I rose quite quickly. But people always say to me, like, "Oh, give me one tip, like one tip."
Yeah.
What one tip can you give me? And my one tip always is have a backup plan.
Yeah.
People say, and it is true in some aspects. Like, if you have a backup plan, like, you shouldn't have one, because you should be so focused on your first plan that you don't need one. But you can't devote your whole life to trying to become a pro gamer, and then it fail and you have nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's very unrealistic to think that you can just become one.
I think when it comes
you have to be extremely lucky.
Pro gaming is probably something that there's not a direct pathway for it, which is why there's so, like, so for example, someone listening to this that's potentially maybe someone that's close to me, for example. Now, in terms of like the way in which like Zach's worded that, in terms of like, it's unrealistic to become a professional and stuff like that, as much as that's maybe, there'll be a lot of kids out there, for example, that have been told, you can't make it in this, you can't do it in whatever it is, because it's unrealistic. The thing is about gaming, everything else outside of gaming, if you have a dream and a desire on something you want to achieve, for example, me, I went and studied accountancy as a backup plan, because I believed, if my business failed, then... Now, this is prior to me having a business idea, so this wasn't in the context of why you're in, but my thought process was always, if my business failed, then I could just go and work in an accountant for a couple of years, generate enough capital to start again. And it wasn't until I realised that was the reason I was at uni, was the day I realised that that's why I was at uni, was the day I quit, and I never went back to uni ever again. Because I realised that I was there for the wrong reasons, and that if I really wanted something, I had to go out and, you know, make it happen. And probably through my business coach Paula, and being around my mum and so on and so forth. When mum started her business, for example, she had obviously myself and my little sister. She had the fucking rent to pay. You know, she had her car. She actually had her car repossessed because she couldn't pay it anymore. And in terms of, well, her back was so up against the wall, bro, that she had no choice but to succeed. And as a matter of fact, she ended up succeeding because of that, which is why I'm a big believer in the fact that, you know, if you don't have a backup plan, your back's up against the wall, and you're in a business aspect or whatever it may be, you can make it fucking happen. But 100%. In terms of the certainty within gaming, there's not a direct path to making it. There's no blueprint to making it. The only things we can say to anyone or teach anyone, or even someone like yourself, bro, if anyone was to come at me and ask me, like, the first thing that always comes to my mind, or the first word, is always obsession. I was obsessed with COD, mate. I didn't want to touch anything else, mate. I was so obsessed to the point where I played every single day, and on top of playing every single day, I was playing with, you know, players that were all trying to get better. Your environment's completely different from people that are just sitting playing for the fun of it. You know, you're playing on a team that is all striving to be better, and on top of that, you're playing with the same players every single day for at least 6 hours. So very quickly, you learn all the shitty things about yourself because you end up being a prick to someone that because you're playing with them for 6 hours a day. You learn so much about yourself, and it allows you to have an opportunity to better yourself, understand constructive criticism, take learnings from the criticism that you get, become a better person. But all those things need to fall in place in order for you to get to the top as well. You need to do all of those things. It's not just...
You need some luck, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A lot of luck. And I think the good thing about being a professional gamer, is, like, what I've learned, is a lot of the things you learn actually can be related to the real world.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can use them in other aspects. You know, respecting people, being a quick learner. Like, at the level I play, you don't have time to make the same mistake twice. No. And certain jobs are the same way. You know, you make a mistake as a doctor, that could be someone's life. You know, and it teaches you a lot, like you said, about yourself, and you quickly, you know, you get a reality check real quick. Especially if you talk to the wrong person the wrong way. But it's a very weird time to have that as a dream job, because there's just so many. There's no like, you know, you can't qualify and get an education to be a pro gamer. That's not a thing.
There's no blueprint for it, bro. None.
Anyone can do it. So there's so many people trying that it's just flooded with the market's flooded with people. And you've got to think, like, what makes you special? You've got to have you know, you've either got to be really good or be different. And it's so hard to be different now, because it's just, there's so many people doing it. But that makes succeeding even more sweeter, and you feel more accomplished.
Well, some players nowadays, mate, that come in my head as soon as, I mean, even it's got to the point where even being one of the best players in the world isn't good enough now. I mean, I look at players like, mate, Paul. Mate, Paul is like, I know leaderboards don't matter, but in a situation in terms of grind, dedication, he's one of those players, bro, that I play with, and he's got the X factor, mate. Now they're players that you just know are going to just pull off some mad shit, bro. We played that with the Fnatic tournament on Thursday. He runs into a building, I get put one shot, he 2pieces 2 guys that are both pre-aiming him. I don't know how the fuck he done it, bro. He gets gassed, and I thought, bro, that's that X factor, bro. Like, the fact that you just make stuff happen, mate. And someone like that, for example, I've watched that guy for playing with Paul as well. Back when I started playing with Paul, probably over the last 6 months, bro, he was averaging 3 to 10 viewers, bro. I'd never seen him on anymore, mate. And that whole time, he was one of the best. He was the top of the leaderboard on console and kills. He was, you know, nobody was, when any tournament opportunities he got, he was dropping bombs. He was nuts, mate, absolutely nuts. and he was still sitting on, you know, between like 3 to 10 viewers, and I thought, bro, what the fuck is going on, mate? And now he's starting to get the love he deserves, bro, which I'm so happy for. In his morning streams, he's up there, you know, like partner level viewers, which is so good to see. But there is no guarantee. You need to be so out the box, bro. Like everything that I'm building, bro, with the stream and stuff like that, all the ideas that I have, everything that I'm working on, I understand that it needs to be authentic. And the only way to break out that competition trap, mate, as Naval Ravikant said, is to be authentic, mate. You do what everyone else is doing, bro, you're fucked.
See, I'm in a weird spot because my viewership when I stream isn't high, and people know me as like, if I was to stream Cold War, I'd probably average like 70 viewers a stream. Because people want to see competitive gaming. People don't watch me for Warzone, but I'm in a spot in my life which I never thought I'd be, but where I'm not playing for the money anymore. Like, it sounds weird, but I don't need to. Because I've achieved what I have. You know, I've made over 150 grand in prize winnings alone. That's not even including my salary. So it's like, I'm fortunate enough where I don't have to play for the money and worry about the money and the viewership. I can just play simply out of enjoyment. And you know, maybe one day I'd like to get to a point where my stream is popping, and you know, I make a lot of money to do whatever with, you know, give back to my mum, do whatever. But like right now, I'm at a point where I'm just happy, bro. Like, I'm just playing what I want. It's making me happy, and I'm just enjoying life.
I see that in you though, and I see it when I'm playing with you as well, because there's no at least for over the last few weeks, month that we've been playing together, probably it's been very rare, or it's never happened over the last, and obviously month's a very short window, but there's no days where I hop on, bro, and there's a bad moody Zed. It's just not been a thing, bro. And any time in which I've seen any videos prior, for example, I used to love watching the rec videos, bro. They were jokes, bro. You had me creasing, mate. You and Shawnee, mate. Was Shane there? Was Shane a coach at some point?
Yeah, Shane, yeah.
Bro, you had me creasing, bro, and I thought, you know, if there was ever a gaming house that I'd be happy to be a part of, bro, it would have been that one. That shit came across the videos. What was the one that he's done, bro? Was it the go-kart kind of thing? The buggies?
Yeah, we used the buggies.
Ragdolling around, bro. That shit had me creasing, bro. Like,
we loved it, bro.
That was nuts.
It's just, yeah, like I said, man. Like, I used to play for the money. Like, I used to, like, you know, that's what it was. You're like, oh, I can make a lot of money here. Like, you know, I can play, but that's not my motivation anymore. Like, I kind of done it. Like, I've done it. Like, I've won the money. I've made the money. So now I have a just different, you know, I think a lot of people, not just myself, were affected mentally over the last few years with like COVID and stuff. So I've come to realize that like my happiness is so much more important than anything else. So that's why I just have fun, bro. I game and have fun. Like I can wake up one day, and if I don't want a game, if I know game is not gonna make me happy, I won't game. Because I don't have to. You know, I'm not relied on that the income or anything. So I'm in a blessed spot, man. For real.
100%, bro. But it's been an absolute pleasure, bro. An absolute pleasure, mate. Fun, so we'll finish on one final question. What's next? Or Zach Daniel, what's happening in the future, bro?
I mean, I'd love to still compete. That's, you know, my bread and butter. That's what I'm good at. Whether that being competitive, whether that be Warzone. You know, I enjoy Warzone. I'm probably not good enough yet to call myself a Warzone like competitor. There's still a lot I got to learn, but you know, either avenue, like I could see myself coaching in the future, maybe, because I'm a more of a smarter player than anything else. So it's like, you know, I'd probably fit in a coaching role pretty easily. But something in COD. That's just what I love, man. I don't see myself doing anything else. COD or property.
COD or property. Love that, bro.
Property.
When it comes to, I think you make a pretty good caster as well, bro. Come on.
Oh god, yeah. Imagine that. Imagine me on the desk, man. People listen to my voice.
I'd pay good money for that, bro. I'd pay good money for that, mate. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, bro. I'll round it up.
Fun, man.
Thank you to anyone. Yeah, 100%, bro. Thank you for coming on, man. Thank you to anyone that's been listening. This should get to a point where now it should be on Spotify as well. So if you're listening on Spotify, I do appreciate it. Anyone that's listening on YouTube, make sure you leave a wee like or comment, tag your timestamp, your favourite part, whatever it may be, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And just thanks again, Zach, bro. What an absolute pleasure to me. 100%, bro. Have a good one, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode.